Welcome to Subramani. Um, are the prices in the market right? Is it too expensive to buy or is it too cheap to buy? I don't have an answer, and I don't think too many people will have an answer. But let us look at the scenario like this. Let us look at the US. The US is suffering from inflation since the 70s. They have not seen inflation, right? 70s was the time of the oil price shock, etc., when US saw inflation in double digits. Now they are at 8 or 8.5, which is very high. We still do not know whether it is temporary or whether it will stay for a longer period. So let us take the first case scenario of the US economy doing a soft landing. So the growth is not too great, but there is a soft landing. So the Fed sees that inflation can be controlled. It comes down dramatically from 8.5 to 4, 4.5, nowhere near their target of 2, but still it will mean that the Fed will not raise the rates as fast as people think it will. That is the first case scenario of there not being a recession. And inflation being under control. This looks kind of difficult, but not impossible to believe that this will happen. Take the second case where the US economy actually hits a recession. The government is unable to, the Fed and the government is unable to rein in the prices. Salaries are going through the roof. However, the person earning well is also complaining because of inflation. So his salary is going up by 7%, but inflation is 8% or something like that. So he's getting a raise, a hike. And she is also getting a hike and a rate hike, and everything is happening, but the rate of inflation, which means the prices that they pay for whatever they buy, for whatever reasons, logistics, like not enough supply, whatever reasons, the price rise is much higher than the amount of money that the two of them are making, or the husband and wife are making, right? The family is making. So that scenario, if we hit a recession, then what happens to the share price? So let us look at it this way. 18%, 17, 18, 16, 17, 18% forward earnings is what the US market is at, which is terribly overpriced for a recession. So if it is going to be a recession, the stock market is in very bad shape. The market has to fall much further. If the market is not falling, the market is trying to tell you, look, there is no great recession happening and life is going to be as usual. That's what the market is telling you. However, if there is a recession, or there is a greater chance of a recession, and recession actually happens because the Fed is unable to cut interest rates, good labor is not available. You have to fly in labor from outside to do small work. It happens many parts of India also, but yes, this kind of problems, if it persists and the government is not able to cut inflation, then markets will get tighter. The electric vehicle will remain on paper. It may not find enough buyers. The gas prices may keep going high. So with all these problems, yes, we are terribly overpriced at a PE of 17, 18 if there is a recession happening. So if a recession has to happen, market has to go down. If the market is if there is soft landing and the market is not going for a toss, then market is fully reasonably priced at 17, 18 PE. It could even get higher, right? So will it be a soft landing? Will it be a recession? I have no clue, but my odds are more on a recession than on a soft landing. If US goes for a recession, is that good or bad for India? Well, very funnily, it may not be too bad, because when they are in a recession, they will have more budget constraints. If they have more budget constraints, it means they will have to outsource more work to countries like India, especially software. So good chance that India might benefit because of that. A recession in the US also means that international oil prices will soften. If there is not enough demand from the US for oil, chances are oil prices will be soft. So if oil prices are soft, that is good for India, because India is a net importer of oil. What happens to China? Will China also slow down because the US has slowed down? Fairly obviously yes. So which means metal prices may not be so high. and metal prices will soften, which means if you have metals in your portfolio, that could be risky. So am I trying to say that there will be a soft landing or there will be a recession? No, I'm not saying, but my vote is more on the side of a quick, small, short, shallow recession rather than kicking the can down the lane and hoping that things will improve, and after that being hit by a much bigger recession which could hurt us far worse. So if all this is happening in the US, will it be too bad for India or good for India? I think it will be a mixed bag. If the Americans don't consume enough, then there may not be demand for many of our products. But if the American consumer consumes and he wants things at a cheaper price, right from software to everything, anything that we can export, I think maybe that's also not too bad for India. So let's see how things fold out. But my bet is more on the recession in the US, and therefore our Reserve Bank reducing interest rates or holding interest rates constant. However, if interest rates were to remain constant in India and it was to fall further in the US, again the arbitrage trade would start. Arbitrage trade may start even in equities. So all those things will mean more money will come into India either in equities or in debt. It will be an interesting space to watch. Thank you.